I'm here along the banks of the Brazos, in front of a statue of World War II hero Doris Miller, the first African-American recipient of the Navy Cross. It's a tribute to a man who displayed extraordinary bravery during the attack on Pearl Harbor and was the catalyst for crucial change in the U.S. Navy. Here's his story. An explosion in the distance, but hits us so close to home. It was the very moment when hometown hero Doris Miller was lost at sea. That's Miller, portrayed by Cuba Gooding Jr. here in the movie Pearl Harbor. Miller transformed from a low-ranking kitchen mess attendant to a remarkable warrior when the country needed him most. Without training, he courageously took over an abandoned anti-aircraft gun, successfully shooting down enemy planes, then carried many wounded sailors to safety, including the ship's captain.
To be able to kick into a moment of saying, how can I help my brothers? Because his mind was on my brothers on my ship.
I met up with Thomas Bledsoe, Miller's great-nephew, who tells me about the significance of that moment.
That's one of the things makes my great-uncle's story so impactful, is that he did that in a time when there was a lot of struggle, a lot of division.
It was a Jim Crow era, and African Americans were second-class citizens. Famed poet Langston Hughes, in Beaumont to Detroit, famously writes about these difficult times for blacks during the war. You Jim Crowed me before Hitler rose to power. How long I gotta fight both Hitler and Jim Crow. In that climate, Miller did not receive public recognition. While white sailors were receiving great praise, Miller's heroic acts were only talked about in regards to an unnamed Negro, until the NAACP pressured the Navy to call Doris Miller by name.
I don't know if he understood the national impact at the time, but I definitely know he understood that he accomplished something and broke a barrier that was there.
It took 5 months, but the Navy finally recognizes Miller by awarding him the Navy Cross. But that fell short of what many believed he deserved, the Medal of Honor. 16 Medals of Honor were awarded after Pearl Harbor, but only to white men. And it's something Miller's family has been pushing for years.
The weight that my great-grandmother carried to try to push for him to get the Medal of Honor, we carried that weight embedded in us.
But to this day, his family continues their push. On November 24th, 1943, less than 2 years after Pearl Harbor, the torpedoed USS Liscum Bay sank beneath the Pacific, taking Miller with it. And he died at the age of 24, never to return home.
He's not here today to be able to see it, but we will be standing in a line of generations cheering it on and saying we knew it and he deserved it.
But even without the Medal of Honor, it doesn't take away from what he represents. Extraordinary bravery, patriotism, a symbol of African American pride, and the pivotal figure in the desegregation of the U.S. Navy. But the chapter of Doris Miller is far from closed. Recognizing his heroics and lasting influence, for the first time ever, our country will name a super carrier one of the Navy's most powerful vessels after an African American. The USS Doris Miller will honor a man who not only gave everything, but also taught us how to change for the better of all Americans.